السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد سيد الخلق أجمعين. اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وارحمنا واهدنا واهد بنا وعافنا يا ربنا، وبارك لنا اللهم فيما أعطيتنا وارحمنا، وأنت الرحمن وأنت الرحيم. اللهم يا ربنا بارك لنا في رمضان. اللهم ربنا تقبل منا صلاتنا، وتقبل منا صيامنا، وتقبل منا قرآننا، وتقبل منا قيامنا، وأنت القبول وأنت الرحمن وأنت الرحيم يا رب العالمين. Inshallah, we will be going through the Khatira in the month of Ramadan, or inshallah, we will be going through the Khatira of the mentioning some of the surah in the Quran Kareem, juz' by juz' and ayah per ayah as we go on daily basis, inshallah. Today, inshallah, we will be talking about Surah Al-Baqarah. Surah Al-Baqarah, it has very special place in the Quran. It has very special place in the hearts and the minds of the Muslims. In it, there is the best ayah of all, is Ayatul Kursi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it the highest status. As Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anhu, the Sahabi, he asked him and he said, what is the best ayah in the Quran? And Sahabi Ubay ibn Ka'b, he says, Allahu wa Rasuluhu a'lam. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, what do you think? And he says, Ayatul Kursi. He says, Sadaq. And then he informed him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed him with the knowledge and the fiqh of knowing the best in the Quran. You notice Surah Al-Baqarah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, any house that the Surah Al-Baqarah is recited in, the shaitan does not enter it. Shaitan does not want to be there, does not want to come near the place where Surah Al-Baqarah is being recited. And we look at Surah Al-Baqarah in many different aspects. But today, inshallah, I'm going to address only the first juz', the first 20 pages. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the beginning of it talks about the mu'mineen. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This is the book, no doubt in it, it has guidance for muttaqeen, the ones who have tuqah, the ones who have fear. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you notice, He mentions three different stories about three different, I want to call them, individual or groups of people. That's the very first 20 pages. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the mu'mineen and their description, talking about munafiqeen, the hypocrites and their description, I'm talking about the kuffar. And if you notice that the munafiqeen, the hypocrites, has the most amount of description. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described their type of nifaq, type of hypocrisy, what they act, how they act, and on and on. These three stories about these entities, if you look at them in the most amazing way. The number one story is about Adam alayhi salam. The very first one, which is he has failed with his mission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after He granted him the greatest honor and the greatest placement, and He put him on the face of this earth, after He boasted about him, and He told the angels to prostrate, make sujood for him. And the angels, they said, قالوا أنسجد لمن, would we make sujood لمن يسفك الدماء لمن يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء, the ones who spread mischief on earth and spill the blood. Rasulullah sallallahu we have. Can you mute yourselves, please, if you don't mind? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put Adam alayhi salam in Jannah after He granted him this greatest khalq, the creation. He gave him the ni'mah and He granted him Jannah. He asked him to do one thing. He ordered him to do one thing. Do not approach the tree. And subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we mentioned the story, how the shaitan, convinced him and his wife for them to eat from the forbidden tree, the only tree in the Jannah he was not supposed to touch. That's one example. The other example is Bani Israel, and this has a lot of different stories about Bani Israel. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started, يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأوفوا بعهدي أوفي بعهدكم وإياي فارهبون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يا بني إسرائيل, remember the oath that I have given you. Remember the ni'mah I have given you. Remember the extra I have given you. And for you to keep your oath towards me. And subhanAllah, you find this is the most amount of stories mentioned about Bani Israel. Bani Israel, the Israelite, basically in the Quran, are an example of the people. Some of them did good, some of them did bad. And the examples of the bad things they've done in the Quran is an example for us what not to do. How they followed, their prophet, they questioned their prophet, they were continuously complaining about the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how they killed some of the, how they killed some of the prophets, and on and on and on. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted them so much. He has given them so much, and yet they never complied, they never given what their oath was supposed to be. And the biggest example to their behavior is what the Surah Al-Baqarah is all about, is the actual Baqarah, is the story of the Baqarah. And the story of the Baqarah is in ayah 67 in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, and he's showing what happened when Musa alayhi salam ordered them to slaughter a cow. Very simple. And actually, he's not an order came out of nothing. What has happened is that a group from Israelite, one of them killed somebody, and they left the body in front of the house, the door of some innocent person. So when people looking for, they look for this person, they found his dead body in front of the house of this person. So everybody wanted to attack him, and the guy says, I'm innocent. So they came to Musa alayhi salam to judge amongst them. The order was from Musa alayhi salam is for them to slaughter a cow. Simple, just go ahead and slaughter a cow. And subhanAllah, we know what they have done. First of all, they said, ask us what this kind of cow it is. He said, well, it's not too old, it's not too young, it is in good shape, go ahead and slaughter it. They came back, they said, well, what color it is? And Musa alayhi salam, he says, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's yellow. Just go ahead and get a yellow cow. And then they came back again. They said, well, we have a lot of different cows and a lot of different colors of these cows. So can you tell us what is the description of it? He says, well, it's not the kind of cow that plows the earth, and it's not the one that has does not have courage, the one that has character, it has a perfect body. And then eventually they slaughtered the cow. And subhanAllah, the story here, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it difficult on themselves, as they made it difficult on themselves, is that how they started to look for a cow, but they started to ask more questions and more questions, more questions. They ended up finding one cow only with that description belonged to a young boy, and they wanted to buy it from him. And the young boy refused to give it to them unless it's actually in its weight in gold. So after they slaughtered it, they sewed back the skin of this cow and they filled it up with gold to give it the payment. And just a simple yes would have done. Any cow would have done. These arguments with the deen that goes back and forth, what kind of cow, what the color it is, and on and on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbidden us from doing this as an example from the actions of Bani Israel. Bani Israel, the second example, as the very first example is Adam alayhi salam, how he has failed with his mission. Bani Israel, they have failed somewhat, they succeeded somewhat, and they're going through a big journey of actions throughout their lives. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about it in details. 12 different incidents, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved and gave them so much, and yet almost exclusively every single time they violated the order, they did something to violate the oath. But the third one, it is Ibrahim alayhi salam, as that's the end of the juz. Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a specific duty, specific tasks to do. فَأَتَمَّهُمْ, he completed them, every last one of them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, says, إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا, I will make you an imam, I will make you a leader for all people from this point on. So The three stories of the three different examples. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the one who has failed, and then the one who or the group who had issues and problems. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the one who completed the mission. So for us, for the Muslim Ummah today, brothers and sisters, I want to tell you one thing. Can we fail? Absolutely. Adam alayhi salam has failed with this mission. But again, it's not a huge failure. This is zalla. It's just a small mistake he has committed. It's not a big deal. It's not a huge issue like, some of the people of the book say, oh yeah, it was the destruction of all mankind and on and on. It's not like that at all. It's just a simple mistake that he committed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven him, and he continued on his life with the best way possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given it to him. Bani Israel, they were negotiating, going back and forth between their issues. And this is the learning curve. Or the one who completed the word like Ibrahim alayhi salam. We can fit, us Muslims today, we can fit as to be participants, to be part of one of these stories. Either we could possibly fail, or we could possibly be wishy-washy, walking back and forth, or we can complete the mission like Ibrahim alayhi salam, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this responsibility, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the ability of being a leader. You notice something unusual about also Surah Al-Baqarah. After this chapter, after discussing the three, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately jumps into the orders. You, the people, you Muslims, what are you supposed to do? In Surah Al-Baqarah, it's all in details. There's full discussion of Salah. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Make Salah. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ الْوُسْطَى. The middle Salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about it in details. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked in Surah Al-Baqarah about the zakah and the importance of giving. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also discussed the siyam. The only place that's mentioned the siyam, the fasting, is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked in details about the hajj. It's not mentioned anywhere else in such details in the whole Quran like it is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is what the scholar said, that all the 5 pillars in Islam are fully detailed in Surah Al-Baqarah, with every last issue with them for you to discuss. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given us the examples of the beginning of it, the true believers, and this is the true guide, and give us an example of the stories of the 3 different entities, the one who has failed, the one who has kind of wishy-washy, took back and forth, and the third one who completed the mission. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the orders of what to do. Inheritance law, money laws, how to give, when to give, what to give, and on and on. All of it is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah. That's why you find the Sahabi who memorized Surah Al-Baqarah, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, used to give him the leadership. He was an emir. He used to tell them when they used to go out on an outing, and he wants to set somebody to be in charge, he would ask, what do you have? How much do you have Quran? What do you have in the Quran? From Quran. Somebody would say this, somebody say that. One of them would step up and say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say, I know Surah Al-Baqarah. He says, you are in charge. You are the one who know the best. You're the one who have the most amount of wisdom. You're able to handle the mission and in its best capacity. Surah Al-Baqarah, brothers and sisters, if we have somebody who memorizes it, you really, really, or know it wholeheartedly, you really have utmost respect for this person, because he knows the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He knows the full rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to live our lives day in and day out. Everything is mentioned in details, the relationships, between husband and wife, the divorce, the marriage, the laws, of course, other than the 5 pillars also, is all mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah in the most beautiful details. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us, inshallah, the biggest ni'mah of knowing the Quran and understanding the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the ones, inshallah, who will be successful with our endeavors. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the ability to be, the true followers of the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu